So Lori Vallow is officially representing herself, ladies and gentlemen, in the trial with her involvement with the death of her ex-husband. Now, I think that Lori Vallow really wants to do this pro se because she feels like she's smarter than everybody else. That's the recurring theme for pro se defendants. You have Daryl Brooks, smarter than everybody else. The Treehouse Murderer guy, you know, he kind of was high on his own farts. He felt like he was better than probably most people in the room. Everybody who goes pro se typically feel like they're better than everybody else, and there's no exception for Lori Vallow. But on top of that, we all know that her reality is not the same as everyone else's. We'll leave it at that. Her reality is not the same as everyone else's, and I think she wants to include some of her spiritual beliefs, some of her extraterrestrial beliefs, you know what I'm saying? So I expect this trial, for the most part, to go smoothly. We're definitely going to cover it. But I do feel she won't be able to help herself at some point, and she's going to start spewing really what's in her mind, and I feel like it's a lot. But before the trial, I want to get ourselves caught up, so I'm going to release a few of these interviews. We're definitely going to go over Lori Vallow herself. We're also going to go over Tylee's interview as well, and we're going to go over the Alex Cox interview. So this is the first one. This is Lori Vallow, not the full interview, but the main parts of the Lori Vallow interview. And just drop your comments. Do you think she's going to try to use the same type of charm, the same type of cutesy, charismatic personality to try and swing the jury some type of way? And what do you think will happen? At the end of the day, I don't think it matters because she's already been convicted for other things. We'll get to that, but it's a lost cause either way. But let's go ahead and check this out.
Tell me what happened, and then so you can start what makes the most sense to you. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions just to kind of clarify.
Sure.
So I know you talked to the initial patrol officer.
And he just got information. He didn't say anything.
So yeah, if you can just kind of tell me kind of what happened. It sounds like some of this may have started last night or something along those lines.
Right.
So start where you think it makes the most sense.
Okay. So,
He just died. This girl was always, she always thought she could get by with her charm and her outgoingness and all that extra shit. She always thought she could do that.
Along those lines,
right.
So start where you think it makes the most sense.
So, I
told you, it's a crazy question.
Well, so we moved into this house 3 weeks ago because he offered to get me a house here where all my family is. So
Okay.
we were in Houston. And so he's like, we had decided to separate or whatever. So he's like, well, I'll pay for a house for you and for JJ and whatever, because he's all about JJ. He's never about Tylee, but he's all about JJ. Because we adopted him together. He's his great nephew. We adopted him as a baby.
Well, let me just say this, Miss Lori Vallow, okay? That is not his fucking child. First and foremost, I like how she's like, oh, it's all about JJ. It's all about... Man, listen here. You wanted to go have a kid with somebody, make that work out with that somebody. I've never really messed with the baby daddy shit because that shit, it turns into this. Fuck that. No thanks. I'm not against it. If you have a child, then, shit, we grown, right? You got a kid. It is what it is. But messy ass shit like this, hell nah. Hell nah. You have to have your shit in order. Where's her father? Is he in her life? That's the next question I'm asking. Hold on, let me back it up.
And so
Because she's blaming him for not treating her. Man, listen. It's not his child, ma'am.
we had decided to separate or whatever. So he's like, well, I'll pay for a house for you and for JJ and whatever, because he's all about JJ. He's never about Tylee, but he's all about JJ. Because we adopted him together. He's his great nephew. We adopted him as a baby. And And so we adopted him as a baby, and so we've been raising
Keep in mind, this man is dead, right? Very conversational. She's a good conversationalist after this man has been murdered.
him together. And he travels all the time for business, so he's used to just going back and forth. So he's always gone like Monday through Friday. So he came when we first moved in and brought me stuff from Houston, like a U-Haul, and then he hasn't been back. But it's all these threats on my phone all the time, you know, like whatever, all these things. And then he told me...
What kind of threats?
Just... You'd have to read them to see, but he's always mad at me, right?
Okay.
And he doesn't want a divorce, but I don't like him and don't want to deal with him, so that's just how it is. Like, so we married for 14 years, we've dealt with it for 14 years, of him being horrible to her. Like, he gets in huge fights with her.
And I'd be punching the fucking air if I was married to this psychopath for 14 fucking years, bro. I'd be goddamn. Man. Mr. Vallow needed to beat his own self up for that one. Brother, you fumbled on that one. You didn't figure it out by year 10? No? You went to 14? Okay. All right. You know, sometimes it takes 14 years to figure it out.
Yeah, a lot of things. But anyway, so he said, I'm coming Wednesday night. All of a sudden, I want to see JJ. And I told him, I said, I will never keep JJ from you. You can come see him whenever you want to. Come take him to school, whatever. Like, I'm not going to do that.
So when you initially moved, he had said he was going to buy you a house. So you moved here with your...
Yeah, he was going to rent us a house.
And so you moved...
All my family lives here. So
Right.
we lived here for a long time.
Okay.
And then he moved us to Houston.
Okay.
And we were there with my son. He was out of school. He didn't have any of his, like, services, his DDD, his anything. He, like, ripped him out of school and said, we're moving.
Okay.
And I didn't go with him at first. And he took him. And I let him take him. And I didn't file anything or whatever. And then he filed something against me and said, I'm only going to get supervised visits because I'm crazy and blah, blah, blah. You know, the story. And so I just...
Epic foreshadowing. Because I'm crazy and, you know, who knew? Listen, her eyebrows are real right now. Who knew she would have had painted on eyebrows and crazy hair and uneven looking face and just a complete breakdown in a matter of like 2 or 3 years from now. 3 or 4 years. Man, listen, shit got fucked up because I'm crazy. No, you crazy. She shouldn't have just skimmed past that super lightly. She's actually crazy.
didn't talk to him for like 30 days and let him take care of him and let him see what I've been doing for the past...
Look at her eyebrows. You notice her eyebrows are like regular? Wait till she gets to prison. Shit goes crazy.
years, because men need to do that. You know, I have 5 kids. I have grown kids. I have grandkids.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're going to threaten me that you're not going to let me see my child without supervised visitation?
Yeah.
Okay, do it for 30 days and see how long it lasts. You're
Right.
begging me to come pick him up.
Yeah.
Which he did. Just like, come back and blah, blah, blah. So I moved in with them to Houston for the family, you know, and Tyler went with me. We drove to Houston from here and left all our family and all his support, all my son's support, like his cousins, everything. And we were there and I enrolled.
The leg cross, all that shit. She's posturing. She's showing that this is not my fault. This is his fault. I'm confident. She's good at it too. She got away. Man, listen, bruh. That's great. At least she, you know, at least it caught up to her.
Him in school there. I tried to start all his services, and it takes forever.
Yeah.
You know, it takes so long to get that done.
There's no easy transferring.
There's
anything.
no easy transfer.
You start from the
State to
beginning.
state, it's a totally new thing.
Yeah.
And he didn't do any of it in those 30 days. So he just had gone without services, without even applying. And I'm like, do you even realize? Because he didn't ever do it in the first place. I did it. Long story. I'll keep it short. He hasn't been here in a couple weeks since we moved in.
Okay.
He came. He was very nasty when he was there, but he travels for business. So he went back to the Houston house,
Okay.
and he's like, I'm coming on Wednesday night, and I'm going to come pick up JJ and take him to school Thursday, pick him up Thursday, take him Friday, whatever. And I said, Casey wanted to come to the house, and I said, you can't come stay at this house because you can't get along with Tylee. She's a minor, she has to live here.
Yeah.
So, because he gets in huge fights up there,
Okay.
and she hates him. And so I'm like, you can't stay at the house, so I will book you a hotel, because he stays in hotels all the time because he travels for business, and the business pays for it. right? So I said, I will book you a hotel nearby.
What does he do?
He works with teachers in their retirement plans, but he goes to them at their school.
Oh, okay.
He mostly works in California,
Okay.
no matter where we live. And we
Okay.
lived in Hawaii, he'd work in California, he'd work in Texas. He has like books of business in different areas. And so he just goes wherever.
Okay.
It kind of just gives him freedom that he doesn't have to stay home every day and take care of special needs
Yeah.
child. It's like an excuse, right? So I've done that myself for the past 7 years anyway. And I was a single mom before I married him with my 2 kids.
Yeah.
And he had 2 kids. We got married, tried to make a family. You
Yeah.
know how it goes. Anyway. So he said he was coming last night. I said, well, you can't stay at this house because you can't get on the
I like how they put a woman in there to make her feel kind of comfortable. That wasn't by accident. They put a woman in there purposely. You see how she's trying to relate with her, like, you know, like that would do any better. Like, you know, men, they're pieces of shit, right? Am I right? Right, girl? Right, girlfriend? You know, I feel like she's too confident. And you know what's crazy is she knew she was going to get out of this. That's why I feel like later on down the line, she was so confident that she could, you know, rid herself of her zombie daughter and her unholy children that easily because she's done it before. You know, it's not the first time she's gotten someone killed and easily gotten away with it. She's in here just calm, cool than a cucumber.
And then I'll get you a hotel and you can come play with JJ, but he goes to school all day.
Yeah.
I got him back into his school. His services, I met with the DDD yesterday and they finally are getting his services back, but we're paying $125 a day to have him back at school because he's so out of his routine. He's been a nightmare on the floor, kicking stuff, hitting stuff, walls, like.
Another option in the theory could be that she really feels like she's in the right. Maybe that's why she's so calm. She's so fucked in the head. Maybe she feels like, fuck that guy, and he deserved to die. That could be a real thing, too.
He just ripped him out of his life.
Yeah.
So, anyway, just how he is, because he only thinks about himself. So. He says, coming to get JJ, and JJ's like, I don't want Dad, because he knows Dad took him away, so he was freaking out, right? So I didn't tell him he was even coming, like Dad's going to come take you to school or anything. So he didn't bother me last night, which I was surprised. I was expecting kind of an ambush for him to kind of like come over or be just mean and say, it's my house, I'm on the lease, I'm going to stay here, kind of thing. Because that's kind of his macho attitude. And so he came this morning. I was getting JJ ready.
So he got in last night, but he wasn't at the house last night.
Yeah, I didn't hear from him, except for he texted me and said, I'll be there at 7:30 to pick up JJ.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, that was good, because I didn't hear from him. And then he came over in the morning and he's like banging on the door. I'm like, oh great, here we go, you know. And I was just gonna be nice. I'm just gonna be nice.
Yo, what's up, Elsie? How you doing? Welcome in, man.
As possible, and I had JJ stuff all ready for school, and so.
Do you remember about what time he got there?
He said he'd be there at 7:30, but it was more like 7:40ish or 7:35. I don't know.
Okay.
But I remember thinking, looking at the clock, and he was there at 7:30, and he's usually Mr. On
Punctual.
time. Yes. So I was like, okay. And then JJ was like, oh, Dad. And then he was like, Mommy, and like ran to me and was like holding me. He's like, you're not taking me to school. And I was like, it's okay, Dad can just drive you to school. It's not a big deal. You know, just trying to make it.
I feel like she's lying. These are all lies. She's a liar. You look at her face right there. That's a perfect pause. She's looking at her, gauging on how much she's buying this bullshit. I don't know how JJ's relationship was with his father. I don't know how Tylee's relationship was with her stepfather. Okay. But I think she's playing it up. I wouldn't doubt that Tylee and her stepfather had issues. Me personally, I wouldn't even really engage. It's not my child. Go get your kid. So I don't see how he's having these huge arguments with some minor who isn't his kid. But all I'm saying is that I think she's stretching the story. Because, you know, we clearly can't ask JJ. We can't ask Tylee. We can't put them on the stand and be like, oh, well, so what exactly happened again? Explain for us, for the jury. No longer can happen. So I feel like she's getting away with telling these crazy, blown out proportion stories.
Whatever.
Calm.
Yeah, calm.
And you know what's funny is JJ's young. Was he like at the time? How old was he? Young, preteen, right? He's not going to say nothing. He's now, her ex-husband, he's now dead. So now she could tell these lies because who's going to stop her? You know, there's somebody, it was a YouTuber And he was saying if you get into a shootout, he's extra. Like, I'm not saying do this, but he was like, if you get into a shootout, make sure you kill him. Why is that? Make sure you kill him. Make sure he's dead. If you get into a self-defense situation, make sure that guy is dead. You know why? So you can't get countersued. It's only your word against a dead man's word. That's what somebody said, and I always remember that for years. Like years forward, I always remember that. I'm like, damn, he's kind of right though, because even if you're in the right, that person will be able to say something, go to trial, maybe, I don't know, maybe you go to jail. But if they're dead, what can they say? And that's exactly what she's doing. And what happened? She got off, right?
And
She got off at that point, and then she turned into a psychopath and got caught later on. But you see what I'm saying?
real smirky and real like jerky, to me, and I was like ignoring him, whatever. And so he was like,
And your brother lives there with you?
No.
Okay.
He had stayed with me last night because I was worried he was going to come over and cause trouble with me.
Okay.
And just wanted someone else there, like my brother there, because I trust my brother. And it's been a long story. Like, I had to go live at my brother's when he took JJ, and, he's just been difficult. So, anyway. So I got JJ stuff ready, and he was like, well, and he's like this about timing. He's like, I'm leaving in 20 minutes because it's like 15 minutes to the school, and like you can't get there early. They don't open the gates until 8:20 or something like that. And I said, well, why don't you just go now? I don't want him in the house. I'm like, why don't you just go now and take him to Burger King, because that's what he likes for breakfast. And he's very particular about food. Like, he wanted chicken fries.
He likes Burger King for breakfast, girl. If I don't smack the shit out of you, bad parenting 101. You want to make your kids obese at a young age? Get them Burger King for breakfast. Seed oil, MSG, bullshit. And he wanted Burger King for breakfast. Now, you can get your kids Burger King for breakfast, but that sounds like he gets Burger King for breakfast. Like, this is what we do every day. God damn, Lori. Fuck, get him a carrot. Shit. Get him a granola bar.
Breakfast and a Sprite. Like, and I just give him what he wants, because if you don't give him
And I just give him what he wants because he's a kid and he knows exactly everything about nutrition. I just give him what he wants.
He wanted chicken fries for breakfast and a Sprite. Like, and I just give him what he wants, because if you don't give him what he wants, then it's like on the floor screaming, dragging him, and just going like, and he's big and he's heavy, and it's hard for me to handle.
And he's big and he's heavy. It's all them fucking burgers you gave him. No child. Some kids are big. Your average child does not struggle with weight unless you start giving them fuck shit as a kid. That's just my opinion. Flame me in the comments if you like. That's just my opinion. If you didn't feed them fuck shit, they probably wouldn't have gotten that fucking...
Anyway, so I said, just go. And so he said, okay. So I gave him the backpack. He got in the car. This is his MO, right? He always leaves something in the house and comes back. He never leaves the first time. I always expect my husband to come back.
Everybody shout out Miss Holmes with the big 2.
To the house, right? So I guess he had left his phone on the counter.
So he initially left with the backpack and with JJ? And
so he put them in the car, in the driveway, and then he came back in, right? So I kissed JJ goodbye. He came back in, and his phone was on the counter, and I had his phone. And he was like, give me my phone. And I was like, why don't you show me your text that you've been texting, blah, 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 whatever. Because he's like acting really weird, like he's plotting something.
So you mean to say you started the conversation? You started the altercation. Okay, good to know. How did you even walk away?
Whatever. Because he's like acting really weird, like he's plotting something against me. Like, I'm like, why are you even here? Like, what did you come here for? He's been talking to my other brother, and my brother came into town at the same time last night. And I haven't talked to my brother in a while, my other brother, and I was like, and so he was texting him on the phone when he first got to my house, and I'm like, why are you texting Adam? Like, do you even talk to him? Like, my other brother. And, he's been telling me all these texts, like, you're going down, blah, 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 blah. He's blaming me for our marriage breaking up and my niece getting divorced and my friend getting divorced. He said, I'm a destroyer of families because
Okay.
I want everybody
I think he might have been onto something there.
to, so I could babysit the kids more. Like,
Yeah.
why would I have any control over what people do?
Yeah.
So it's just very odd. But anyway, he goes nuts. He's gone nuts on us a lot of times. Tyler and I have had to leave with JJ.
You guys said that's OCD. See, I don't know what the fuck it is. I'm good though. I'm fine. Nah, but she has a few issues. I might have some, but she has a few. Which one is worse? I think the second one.
Over the years, probably 5 times, and just stay in a hotel for 2 days because he goes nuts. Like,
What's up, Negla?
you don't know what's gonna set him off, like, whatever. And she's mad at me for always, like, going back. But we had JJ, and he's special needs, and it's really hard. Like,
Yeah.
it's even hard to take care of it by yourself.
So when you say he goes nuts, that can mean a lot of different things.
Right.
So goes nuts like yelling and screaming.
Yeah,
goes
yelling and
nuts like
screaming,
breaking
like,
things.
yes.
Goes nuts like physical violence.
He
He's
hits you?
never really,
Does he hit you? Does he put his hands on you, Lori?
besides, like, grabbing us and pushing us, but not, like, punching us or
Yeah, he
something.
doesn't hit you. Man, this was a regular ass dude who was fed up after 14 fucking years. What do you expect? Don't touch women. Don't touch her. Don't grab her. If he does grab her. But I don't even think he was even grabbing her. You see how she had to pause and kind of like contort the story a little bit to fit. Well, he doesn't like open. He doesn't like slap, but he like grabs. Like he might like shake. It's like traumatizing either way.
Thing. But with Tylee, he has gotten physical
Okay.
before. And with my grown son,
Like physical how?
like, got into a physical fist fight with my son when he was 16.
Okay.
And he came after Tylee 2 times in Hawaii.
Okay.
And, like, went like he was going to hit her, but then I got in between them.
Uh-huh.
Right.
How old was she when that happened?
Probably 13 and 14.
Okay. So this morning he comes back in and...
He comes back in, I wouldn't give him his phone. He was screaming at me to give him his phone. He was very worried about whatever was on his text that he did not want me to see. And so I was just holding it there, and he was screaming at me. And I was kind of walking around the house with it, so he couldn't get it. He's like reaching for it and stuff like that. And so Tylee came out of her room upset, and she had a bat. And she told him to leave her mother alone, like, right? So she was really, whatever, and he's screaming at her, don't you hit me with that bat, blah, 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 blah. Then my brother heard all the commotion because he was in there in bed, and so he came out into the main room, and...
Yeah, so she probably didn't like him because I don't think they would fabricate the whole bat story. So Tylee probably came out with the bat because he was yelling, "Get away from my mommy, oh my God." Little did she know her mom was a fucking menace, bro. Literal menace to society. You protected the wrong person. Real shit.
I guess whatever.
What's your brother's name?
Alex.
Alex, okay.
And then he just started, he was screaming and he was super upset and whatever, and he's yelling at Tylee, don't you hit me with that bat, and blah, blah, blah. And so Tylee, I guess, I don't know if she swung at him or what, but he like grabbed the bat from Tylee and then went to like hit Tylee with the bat. It was, and I was right there, and they were right there, and my brother grabbed him from behind, like just to stop him from hitting Tylee.
You go like this, like he grabbed him like...
Yeah, from behind, like just kind of to pull him back. And then they got into the thing, and he's hitting him with the bat, and they're on the ground, like grappling around or whatever. And then, it was all
And he...
quickly.
And I think Alex Cox did have like a hit on the back of his head. I don't think they staged it. I don't think she said hold still and hit him across the head to fake that he got hit in the head or whatever. Because when you do the Alex Cox interview, I think he has like a red spot in the back of his scalp. I think he got smacked up a little bit. So, but it doesn't, I don't think it still warrants you fleeing from the encounter, getting a gun and coming back to that encounter. How is that self-defense?
hit your brother with the bat while they were grappling and stuff?
Yeah, Yes, he was hitting him with the bat, like swinging the bat, back and forth, and they were kind of like on the ground, and I was like freaking out trying to go around, knowing JJ was in the car,
Yeah.
right? And so then he got up and he had the bat like this towards me, and I was going around the other side to try to just get out of his range where he couldn't hit me. And then I had told Tylee, because she was on the ground, because after he took the bat from her, she fell back. And so I told her, I was like, go get in the car with JJ.
So this guy's just the fucking Terminator. He came in here and was fucking everybody up. He was bitching down Tylee, bitching down Valo, striking Alex, just smacking everybody. I don't believe that. I don't believe that shit. She's definitely playing this up, and she could play it up as much as she likes. Honestly, she's the author to her story. As long as she doesn't take it too far out of the scope of her kid, because she knows that, her child was there, but she's going to rock with the program. You think they didn't have that conversation on the way to school for an hour, 2 hours, 2.5 hours? You don't think they had that conversation? You don't think she coached the absolute shit out of her little daughter for them to drive to school, get back home, go to the police station, tell a story. No, she was the author of this story through and through. Alex got his memo. Well, Alex was there on scene, so he gave his shit, he held it down, and she was able to author her story. No one there to say anything against her.
Like, I don't want JJ coming in to the house, and I wanted her out of the way. I wanted the kids out of the way of whatever this fight was going to be. And then,
Do you remember what your husband or your brother were saying or yelling during all of this? If they were at all?
just kind of get off me, out, or whatever. They were like, don't talk to my niece about whatever. Like, it was, I don't remember specifics, but they were kind of in the heat of it. I don't think there was many words that I remember.
So Tylee goes outside.
Yeah, she was outside,
And then what
I
happened?
remember this is years ago. You said makes no sense. You'll forget these details. This is years ago. It's not like she could just go on YouTube and pull up a little video and watch it and coach herself. Maybe she has some discovery, some evidence. Maybe this video is somewhere so she could watch it herself. But it's not like she's going to... When you're lying, it's hard, man, because you have to keep up with a lie. Telling a simple lie is easy. Telling a bit more of a complex lie, it becomes a bit more hairy. But telling a long-term lie is the hardest thing. I think it's the hardest thing ever. They call it the long con. A long-term lie is the hardest thing to do. And that's what she's engaging in. She's doing the long con. This is years worth of a foundation built on lies. This shit is not easy. Shit is not easy. So, shout out to her for keeping whatever reality she's trying to keep in place for the jury. But I think it's going to come crashing down when time comes to it.
Then they got up from that, and my brother had
What's up, Geraldine?
stepped back, I guess, and then Charles was coming with me at the back, yelling at me to give him his phone still, because I had it in my hand. It was all really quickly, and then when I went around kind of in the circle, then my brother was there.
When you said when you were going around and he was coming at you with the bat, how was he holding the bat?
Just like that, like backwards, almost in one arm.
Like he was swinging,
Doesn't make sense.
swinging.
I'm just gonna smack you with it. I'm a smack. No, you're gonna I don't know. Maybe he's a backhander. Maybe he's a backhand type of guy. But I would expect a forward hand type of, if you're trying to really hurt somebody. Maybe he was just trying to smack him a little bit. Maybe it was a backhand.
Swinging it backwards. He would have done
Like he would have swung it backwards at me, not frontwards.
Okay, yeah.
He was a professional baseball player.
Okay.
So it wasn't a good idea for Tyler to get out of that.
Probably not the.
He played
I had to lean so forward because that was so. It's not a good idea for him to have it. It was. That was so funny, right? Because he's a professional. You get it. Because that's the joke.
So it wasn't a good idea for Tyler to get out of that.
Probably not the.
I mean, he played semi-pro
Yeah.
when he was young.
I mean, you know, he was kind of a good guy. You know, he was kind of cold with it. You know, that's what the young kids say. He was cold with it. So it's not a good idea for him to have the bat. That's why we murdered him. Because we thought he was going to kill everybody in the house with a fucking baseball bat. Come on, bro. It's not believable. And it's crazy that she actually walked out with this bullshit. And now later on, they're like, maybe we should prosecute this. Bruh. That goes to show if you just have any... Guys, this should be inspirational to everybody. Have confidence in yourself. And when you walk in that room, you are that bitch. You are that guy. You know what I'm saying? You are him. You are her. To everybody. Because overall, when you walk into a room with that confidence, people just let you have your way. We are watching this woman have her way. Just because she has that confidence. Fuck it. Walk in that interview and tell them you're going to take everybody's job. Shit. I have arrived. I'm going to save this whole company type shit. That's the type of energy you got to bring. I'm telling you.
But, yeah, and then I was kind of turned around, and we were all right there in that room, except for the kids had been outside by that time, and I heard the gunshot.
Mm-hmm.
And
So you heard the shot?
mm-hmm.
Did you actually see the shot, or did you just hear it?
I had gone around
Mm-hmm.
to the kitchen to get away from him, and so back around. So I don't know if he went in the house.
I didn't, so I'm like a little bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah, so I didn't see the shot. I heard it, and then I came back around and I saw that he was on the ground.
Okay.
And was freaking out.
Yeah.
And so I was just freaking out, and it just went into mom mode. I'm like, I've got to go to get JJ to school. I've got to get to the kids. I just felt like I got to get to the kids. I just went outside and to see if they were in there okay. I didn't want them coming back in the house. Got JJ in the car, and he was trying to come in,
Mm-hmm.
and Tylee was like looking at me with like the crazy eyes, like what just happened. And I told her
Why
to
does she keep laughing? Because she's a fucking psychopath.
get in the car and we're going to take JJ to school.
Mm-hmm.
And I just left.
When you came back in and you saw him on the ground, where was your brother? Did you see him where he was at?
Yeah, he was right in front of him.
Okay.
Like, it all happened very quickly. That
Right.
was, I mean, I feel like I was there because I was right there, and like
Yeah.
a second later, like,
Okay.
I just went around the kitchen to get away from him.
Did your brother say anything to you at all? Do you remember?
No, we were both just in shock.
Okay.
Like, it was just I didn't say anything. I went out with the kids just to check on them first, and I was going to come back in maybe, but I didn't. I was
Wait, hold on. I'm reading chat and I missed a piece. Hold on.
to see if they were in there okay. I didn't want them coming back in the house when all that was going on, and got JJ in the car, and he was trying to come in,
Mm-hmm.
and Tylee was like looking at me with like the crazy eyes, like, but yeah, and then I was kind of turned around, and we were all right there in that room, except for the kids had been outside by that time, and I heard the gunshot.
Mm-hmm.
And
So you heard the
I
shot?
don't understand. The way she explains this is so dodgy.
and we were all right there in that room, except for the kids had been outside by that time, and I heard the gunshot.
We had all been outside by then. So keep in mind, this is really good.
Room, except for the kids had been outside by that time, and I heard the gunshot.
Sorry. I'm sorry. This is my last time.
Yeah, and then I was kind of turned around, and we were all right there in that room, except for the kids had been outside by that time, and I heard the gunshot.
Okay, so basically, she's giving her brother, she's passing it up for the alley-oop, you know? She threw the ball in the air, and now Alex Cox just needs to grab it and slam dunk that bitch with a background, with a 360 dunk. Because now she's effectively covered her side. It's crazy. Like, she's actually really good because she effectively covered her side. She made him a threat. And remember, he's dead. He can't talk against this. And the kids are going to vote her side. JJ didn't see anything. Tylee, she got put outside. So basically, she painted him out to be the full threat. She's scared for her life. She gets the kids away. Her back is turned because she's so worried about the kids, and that's where her story ends. Now Alex Cox can say anything he needs to say, and their stories won't conflict, right? Now he can freestyle just like how I freestyled, because I didn't conflict my story. I didn't see it. All I know is that they were tussling. Where both those two facts are going to coincide with each other for sure, because that's actually something true that happened, I'm sure. And now he can just say what he needs to say, and boom.
So you heard the shot?
Mm-hmm.
Did you actually see
Hell nah.
see the shot?
Of course not. I would never say, listen, if I'm trying to get my brother off, I didn't see shit. I was terrified, and I was tending to the kids.
Did you just hear it?
I had gone around to the kitchen to get away from him, and so back around. So I don't know if you went in the house.
I didn't, so I'm like a little bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah, so I didn't see the shot. I heard it, and then I came back around and I saw that he was on the ground.
Okay.
And was freaking out.
Yeah.
And so I was just freaking out, and it just went into mom mode. I'm like, I've got to go to get JJ to school. I've got to get to the kids. I just felt like I got to get to the kids. I just went outside and to see if they were in there okay. I didn't want them coming back in the house when all that was going on, and got JJ in the car, and he was trying to come in, and Tylee was like looking at me with like the crazy eyes, like what just happened, and I told her to get in the car and we're going to take JJ to school, and I just left.
And there's Tylee's little story. So now Tylee just needs to have a little bit of lore, and she'll be able to carry this interrogation for the long run. Tylee just needs a little bit of coaching. Okay, so Tylee, what did you see? Okay, well, what really was happening was this, that, and the other, okay? It's nothing more than a couple of sentences that Tylee really needed to know for her to believe her mom, and for her to go with the full story, and for her to tell the story confidently, because she just believes mom. So it's not like she would have to worry about Tylee being nervous of telling a lie, because she, coached it right into her. I'll just believe you, mommy. I hate him anyway, mom.
You came back in and you saw him on the ground. Where was your brother? Did you see him where he was at?
Yeah, he was right in front of him.
Okay.
Like, it all happened very quickly. I feel like I was there because I was right there, and a second later.
Okay.
I just went around the kitchen to get away from him.
Did your brother say anything to you at all? Do you remember?
No, we were both just in shock.
Okay.
Like, it was just I didn't say anything. I went out with the kids just to check on them first, and I was going to come back in maybe, but I didn't. I was like, I just have to get him to school.
Okay.
And call the police and come back, whatever.
Did anybody say did you or your brother say anything at some point about calling the police or calling 911? Do you remember?
Yeah, he called me.
Okay.
And he said, are you taking JJ to school? And I said, yeah, we need to call the police. And he said, okay.
Okay. So he called you when you didn't come back inside, basically?
Right.
Okay.
Because I was like in the car for a minute, and then I was like, what do I do? And I didn't want JJ to go inside, and I didn't know what to do, and Tylee was freaking out. I was trying to get them away from the scene.
Understandable. And you may not know this, so, because I know you heard the shot, do you know at what point your brother had the gun? Do you know if he had it when they got in their first fight, or did he have to go get it, or do you know that at all?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
And do you remember if you ever heard your brother?
I didn't see him ever leave the room.
Okay.
So it was so fast. All that was so fast. Like him on the ground rolling around, and I'm screaming, and
this probably happened in a couple seconds.
Yeah, it was like super fast.
And I don't know if you know this or not, does your brother normally carry a gun? Like, I carry a gun everywhere I go.
Right. Like, I know he's a gun person. Like, he has guns and things.
Okay.
He's good with guns.
Did you know that he had one with him?
No.
When he came over?
No, but
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did, because
Okay.
he's very, very professional with guns.
Proficient, professional, responsible is usually a good
Right,
but
a responsible.
Professional with guns says her. A fucking psychopath. A weirdo. A cult mom. Oh yeah, he's a professional. I wouldn't really believe too much from you, sweetheart. So you don't really need to tell me if he's a professional. I'm pretty sure he would shoot himself by accident. He's probably just like a novice at guns. And she's like, oh yeah, he's like a professional. Because he hit like the middle of a target one time. He's like really good at it. Lori's a fucking airhead. But she's a good airhead. She knows where her priorities lie. And that's staying the fuck out of jail. And she's really using that brain power of hers right now to go. She's at 97% brain power getting herself out of this jam.
With guns.
And then, do you remember if at any time, so you were trying to get away from him,
Right.
and you heard the shot. Prior to the shot, do you remember at any point hearing your husband or your brother saying anything to either of them?
No.
So my second very ridiculous question is there anything else that I didn't ask about or anything that we didn't cover that you think is important? I always ask that just because I wasn't there, and so we're going through something that happened a super small amount of time.
Yes. Can I
So,
step?
yeah, go for it.
Just thinking.
Even the cross-leg vulnerable position is all bullshit. Oh, can I do that? Bitch, you're already doing it. She asked the question while one dirty, stinky-ass, sweaty foot is already on the fucking leather couch. Oh, can I do that? Well, I guess you're already doing it. Now aren't you, Lori?
A super small amount of time.
Yes. Can I
So,
step?
yeah, go for it.
Let me just meditate for a minute. So, you know, in the morning I do like 7 minutes of yoga and I meditate. Let me try and do that and see if I can remember. Somebody needs to smack the coins out of her fucking brain, bro. I swear to God. Pretentious ass at the same time.
Just thinking. Just that. He was just so angry, like super scary.
Did you
You know how you take your phone away from like a 16-year-old and they freak out? Like,
No, I wouldn't have bitch ass 16-year-olds. You know what would happen if they start freaking out? They just wouldn't, because I wouldn't have bitch ass 16-year-olds. So you know when you have a 16-year-old and they start freaking out, it sounds like you're not in control of your household. I can't concur. I don't understand. What do you mean? You know when you take the phone and they're just like freaking out and they say, "Fuck you, mom, I hate you." Can't confirm. Can't relate. Motherfuckers would get body slammed for some shit like that. These are your problems, Lori. You know when they're just like freaking out? No, I don't really too much know that.
their world disintegrates. Like, I've taken my phone away from a 16-year-old boy before, and he's like wanted to kill himself because like they kidnapped him. That's how it was. It was like, if something on his
He wanted to take himself off of this earth because he didn't have a phone. You have some non-adjusted children if that's what's going on. What boy did you take the phone away from who was 16? They're not adjusted too well, sweetheart. That's not something that happens on the regular. Come on.
phone that he does not want me to see, that he was like freaking out. Like,
Wow.
To the point where I thought he would hit me in the back of the head to get the phone.
Okay. So you thought, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you thought it was possible that he was going to hurt you.
Absolutely, he was going to hurt me and Tylee.
Okay.
Not JJ, he would never hurt JJ.
Okay.
And he hurt my brother. Like,
Yeah.
he was going like ballistic about.
About the phone that you took out of his possession that was for him? After you're antagonizing him, he was going ballistic? But again, he's dead, right? That's how she got off.
It was that.
Okay. I'm gonna go talk to her real quick.
Okay.
And then if, obviously, we'll be here for a little bit, hopefully not too much longer. But if you think of anything or there's anything that kind of pops in your head or something else that we didn't cover, obviously. So I'm gonna go talk to her for just a little bit, and then I'll kind of come back and check with you. And then we'll kind of go from there. So I know my partner's talking to your brother over in one of the other interview rooms. So we're going to just try to get, as much done as we can and go from there.
Okay.
Okay? And then, is there anybody that you need to call or anything, or you want to wait a little bit?
I don't know what I would say.
No. And wait a little bit, we'll see.
Yeah. I don't know what I would say.
If you want to, you can think about it. So we do have victim services that work within the police department. They're right over here. They're not cops, they're civilians. And they do, Jessica, who's out there with the fire department, so they're kind of our crisis response. They come right away. Mm-hmm. So our victim services that work in the department are kind of more long-term type support systems. So they're just a really good resource because they do a lot of stuff with our families and things like that and can help with support services and questions you might have.
She's been through so much.
So it might be a good idea.
All right, fuck that shit. That's pretty much over. Let's check out the Tylee interview.